All right, so last night I was sitting here, three sheets to the wind, thinking to myself, why do only some of my aquarium lights have the blue light mode? Because half of my aquariums have what they call moonlight so that you don't get overgrowth of algae. Because this week I had to tear down two tanks because they got an algae bloom. And once it gets in there, it's hard to get it out without taking everything out, scrubbing it down, and then starting over. But while I was doing that, the blue light came up in a different regard: fluorescent slavery. So if you're like me, you work in a place that has fluorescent lights. They flicker, they go out, and I asked last year if we could replace them with LED lights because the light isn't as harsh. These lights must be from the 1980s or some era before people realized that fluorescent lights aren't good for you. Straps a fluorescent tube above your head and calls it productivity. We check in, we clock in, we hum, we flicker, and we tell ourselves it's normal. But deep down, you know this glow isn't light. It's the sound of your life getting drained one shift at a time. It's funny how almost every aspect of work is traumatizing, from the people to the environment to the very food that's available in the cafeteria or sitting in the break room with nothing to eat. I've seen it for years working in retail. As I just finished up another brick of ramen and I'm trying to get the aftertaste out of it, out of my mouth right now, it is very normalized to live like this, to live with those lights. And it's not like it's just one place, it's everywhere you go. Every back room of every grocery store I've ever worked at has that creepy lighting in the back. Out on the sales floor, it's the same thing. And no matter where you go, as long as you're at work, you have that strange cast of light. It's not natural. And you start associating it with negativity. What do you associate those lights with? The minimum wage, poor management, high prices. It's all the same. It's all there, lit up by those same crappy lights. Talking point number one. You don't need barbed wire when you've got buzzing ceiling lights. Every time you clock in, that hum switches on like a parole officer, reminding you your freedom is conditional on a paycheck that barely covers gas. The irony: we built the cells ourselves and call them jobs, while the rich sunbathe under skylights they never had to earn. That is so true. And the irony of buying gas. Oh my God, yesterday I had to buy gas and I try to put it off as much as possible, but I only had one gas pellet left in my car. And that's not normal of me. It's a sign of the times. I was dreading going to the gas station because gas was, I believe, 4.25 a gallon. And I knew that it was going to cost me an arm and a leg to fill up my tank. And I didn't want to do it. And I'm one of those people, I stick the nozzle in there and I walk away. I come over, I take it out. I don't even want to look at how much it costs because I know I can't afford it. That's the great thing about living in our present society. No matter where you go, you can't afford it. After I went to the gas station, I went to Fry's. Someone asked in the comments if I was at Whole Foods yesterday with those 5.99 cup of strawberries, sliced strawberries. No, I was at the Kroger's. You expect prices like that at Whole Foods or AJ's Fine Foods. No, those prices are at the place that's supposed to be affordable. They currently have a $10, I believe it's fruit, think it's like grapes and melons sliced into little pieces inside of a fruit bowl at Walmart. It doesn't weigh anything, but it's got a $10 sticker on the outside. And whenever you look at that, you realize you can't afford what's in that container anymore. Your wages haven't gone up to $10 fruit. You still have wages from $1 fruit, and therefore making that exceptionally more traumatic to walk around anywhere that's going to take away your money. And that's why I don't look at the cash register anymore. I just hope that my card approves the purchase and then I move on. Because being traumatized at the grocery store, at the gas station, opening your electric bill, it's too much. We already live as part of a world that doesn't want us to be alive. But this is getting downright ridiculous. Talking point number 2. The wealthy get sunsets over beaches. We get break rooms lit like morgues. Day after day, fluorescent tubes bleach out our skin, our dreams, and our sense of time until we don't even remember what golden hour looks like. Capitalism doesn't just rob your wallet, it robs your circadian rhythm. That is so true. During the week, I don't see the light of day. During the week, you're in a windowless room performing the same mindless task that you've been doing for years. When I'm working at McDonald's, I don't look outside. I try not to make eye contact with the customers. I try to not make eye contact with the other employees. It's just me, the fryolator, and the fries. From fresh potato to something that resembles food. That's all you do all day. And I remember when I used to work at Walmart and they would hire people routinely because if you're working at a minimum wage job, there's no stability. And so I would even bother to memorize the faces or names. If I had to talk to someone, I'd talk to them based on a vague description. Oh, there's that short, fat kid, or there's the girl with the really long hair. You don't give these places your attention. You're there to perform your task. Me, work the fryolator. And at the end of the day, you go home and you engage so little with work because from the moment you walk in, the Soul Suck 3000 is attached to your wee hole. And its task all day is to make certain that your soul is gone, that you're a soulless, working human machine standing at that fryolator. And all day long, if you get a sense that you might have a soul, that job might break you. And this is a direct quote from one of my coworkers last week. This job is trying to break me. If I let it, it will break me and take my soul. What little of it I had left. That's a direct quote from him. My response was, you don't have a soul anymore. The Soul Suck 3000 is back there taking every ounce of your soul. And his response to that was, if I didn't have a soul, why would this hurt so much? When that's the conversation going back and forth between two people at Pound Town, and someone asked me in the comments, what's Pound Town? Pound Town is every place that you assume the position at 8 a.m. And good old Fleece comes around the corner with a big smile on his face because he's been missing you since Friday afternoon. Grabs your pants, drops your tighty whities, and it's Pound Town. And then he gets done and he's like, we'll do it again tomorrow. And you're like, no. And he's like, you need money? You need money? You got bills? You got rent you can't afford? Oh, you'll be back tomorrow. And Pound Town is every single job in America and the world. None of us like going to the Death Star or Surf City or Evo Corp. We go to those places because we have to. Every part of our soul tells us not to go to work. But every part of your human existence requires you to make money. As I keep saying, we don't need jobs we don't like. We just need money that we need. If you're like me, your relationship with money isn't about one in which I want lots and lots of it. I need lots and lots of it to provide. I need it to pay for the rent in this crappy apartment, to pay for the power that runs this computer, to pay for water that I need to make my ramen noodles in the morning. Without going to work, we stop existing. And unfortunately, there are very few of us who are ever going to make more than the minimum wage. I say this in all my videos, but there's a good chance that you're going to be a loser for the rest of your life. I've come to that conclusion. There have been no good jobs in my entire life. It's the same one. You're just moving your hands in a different way. Today, I'm dipping my hands in the fryolator. Tomorrow, I could be digging a ditch. The day after that, who knows? I could be walking out of a grocery store as a middle-aged woman that's incredibly overweight. And I saw this yesterday. As I was leaving the Kroger's, I saw a woman that must have weighed at least 250 pounds, cart full of food. She walked right through the self-checkout and out into the parking lot like nothing mattered. She stole hundreds of dollars worth of groceries. Did she look homeless? No. Did she look like she was poorly dressed? No. Did she have a nice car in the parking lot? Yes. But that's where we're at, people. That woman didn't have the money to pay for those groceries, probably for all of her kids. So she just pushed her cart past. And the employees are not allowed to fight back. One employee that I know that's a friend of mine, she's tried to stop a homeless woman from taking a bag of groceries a couple of weeks ago. And that woman turned on her and started hitting her. And she had bruises on her arms. She's lucky she didn't get fired, because it's the number one rule of retail is you do not try to engage them. It's not your job. They don't want you getting hurt. And that's why that woman was able to push out hundreds of dollars worth of groceries as if nothing were happening. She even packed them all into her own canvas bags. This lady knew exactly what she was planning on doing when she got into that store. And I always tell myself, when I see people doing that, you broke the social contract, retail. Food was supposed to be something, a basic essential that we could all afford at any time, regardless of our employment. When you break that social contract, you are telling us that the rules don't apply. Price gouging the hell out of the American people for basic food necessities means people are going to turn their backs on the rules, just like that lady did. All right, let's close this up. Oh yeah, maybe this is what freedom looks like now. Endless buzzing, no sunlight, and a paycheck that can't even buy you silence. The fluorescent cage doesn't break you with violence. It bleaches you into obedience. And the sickest part, we stopped noticing. We stopped asking if this is a life or just a waiting room for the end. In fact, yesterday I was talking to Mello on my ride home from the grocery store, and she said to me, "MillennialSteam, when am I going to retire?" And I said to her, "Mello, retirement in America right now means retirement from life itself." She stopped for a few seconds and she's like, "You're absolutely right. Retirement isn't about stopping working and enjoying your golden years. Retirement means you stop working. And that is the end. That is what retirement means to the proletariat. It is an entirely different definition than what the rich or even our own government call. Retirement is about the end. When the machine stops and everything goes black."